Hello and welcome to a special video on my repaint of the Kamen Rider Dark Decade based on the version 3 of the figure, the real bone figure. And you can see here, I think he looks much better than the original version, which I'm going to insert an image of right now, just so you can have a look-see. Yep, new version is definitely way better. So, what did I do to create this custom? Well, first of all, you need the Kamen Rider Decade. So first of all, you need the base figure, the real bone version of Kamen Rider Decade, but you can also apply some of the paints and color selections to the original Decade figure, which is very cheap now. Get the Violent Emotion one, because that's the one that comes with the second head. If you don't get that, you're missing that head, and the original Decade head is a little bit off, so don't get that one. Don't get the Decade in the pink box, I think. You want the Violent Emotion one. Or the real bone one, which is quite expensive. Definitely don't get it from Hong Kong, because Hong Kong is really expensive for this figure right now. So you definitely want to try and get it from Japan, maybe second hand. Or if you're traveling Japan and near the toy areas, definitely go and do that. So here are the paints we need. For the main body, we need the number 13 Neutral Grey from Mr. Color Spray by Mr. Hobby. So yep, the cap is a little bit darker than the actual figure, but you know, that's the color you want. And for the eyes, I went with the Tamiya color TS72. For the gold rims, I went with the TS84 metallic gold, also Tamiya color. Tamiya color TS30. This is an awesome silver paint. It pretty much gets that nice metallic finish that you get on all of the Kamen Rider armors. That's great. You also need a little bit of black spray paint. This is just TS14. Get black, matte black, whatever. Any black will do fine because you're going to coating it with a finish later at the Gaia color here, silver. Gaia color silver, just for some extra bits on the Deca driver, because I'm not going to bother spraying that. It's a bit of a hassle. For the mask area, I used this liquid chrome 20 years edition by Molotov, the original. This is a pretty nice pen. Pretty much as soon as you draw on it, everything comes chrome, but I used this to draw the little ear bits on Kamen Rider Decade stuff after I spray painted that area black, and I'll tell you why later that I was spraying that bit. And I also recommend to get these 0.003, 0.005 sort of millimeter black marker pens. These are really useful just to finish the edges, even because spray painting sometimes there'll be accidents where the edge isn't that smooth, and since this figure is like a grey color with lots of black areas, these are really important to get. So after you're done with all the paints, of course you want to seal it, so I use the Mr. Hobby Mr. Super Clear Gloss with UV cut. Definitely get the UV one, and thank me later for telling you that, because if you display these figures anywhere near a window or outside, you don't want the sun to destroy your hard work, because spray painting this figure is pretty annoying, pretty hard, and will take a while. So definitely get yourself a UV cut one. It only costs a little bit more than the regular version. And then you also want to get yourself a matte finish for certain areas of the suit, because Kamen Rider Decade suit contains some matte areas as well as the shiny bits, so you want to do that, get the matte color. So that should cover all of the color bits. Next are the simple basic things that you just need. I will say you need a hair dryer. I didn't use one, but you might want to use one. The hair dryer is useful for melting down glues that they use to glue down the figure together, so get a hair dryer if you don't want to risk breaking anything. I broke one bit, but it's not actually broke two bits for different reasons, but I'll explain this later. You need a lot of masking tape, so get some thick, get a thick one that's useful for cutting, so get a pair of scissors to cut different shapes out if you need to, and also get a thinner one so you're not wasting as much, and also get a thin line one, which is also quite useful for going around the grooves and edges for Kamen Rider Decade though. Kitchen towel is useful for the paints and stuff, because there are a few areas that you will use a very thin brush, so do that. In order to clear off certain colors, which I'll explain later which colors they need to do that, I bought this from Gaia Color, the G Color series Gaia Color Thinner. So what you want to do is just pour some of this onto the kitchen towel and rub off the paint areas that you don't want. So that's important. Get yourself a bunch of these little clips on sticks. Clip, clip, clip. That's good for spraying. You're not going to spray everything, all the stuff on your hand, so you clip these onto the figure and whatnot, and then it's a toothpick on the other end, so you can do that. You can also remove the clip from the stick itself, and the end is pretty much fits in some of the joints, so you can just stick onto the joint and that'll be fine. And you will need some pliers like these, as well as a high quality knife. Get a high quality blade so you can cut certain areas. And finally, for the spray painting toothpick stuff, to let it dry, I find it's just useful. You can buy one of those stands if you want to, but you don't have to. If you buy figures all the time, then you probably have some cardboard boxes lying around. I find that the premium Bandai boxes like these are fine. Just lay it flat and stick those toothpicks in. Poke some holes into it, and make sure you poke the top, and then it pokes into the bottom so it doesn't wobble all over the place. So once you spray your figure, you can stick them in and let it dry. Oh, and safety stuff, get yourself some instant breathing masks or some permanent breathing masks. Oh, and last but not least, get yourself a small pack of multi screwdriver tool sets. You want some Phillips and some flatheads. Those would be really useful in prying open different figure parts. So you definitely need to get some of those. Let's start off with the easy part, turning the little Decade logo from pink to blue on his accessory. So you got the ride booker in gun mode, book mode, and sword mode. So for all three parts, just get some masking tape and then just stick it all the way around and just spray the transparent blue onto it, and you should be good to go. Let's just spray a little bit of that gloss finish and you should be fine. To disassemble the figure itself, this is where some of the screwdrivers come in. Make sure that your screwdriver pack has one of those little needle pointy ones. That'll be really useful. And don't worry when you're poking or scratching the insides of the joints, because you're not going to see that, so who cares. So the easiest stuff to take off are the head, the neck joints, all the ball pegs and stuff. Some of the joints are harder to pull off, such as, and the leg joint here is a little bit hard to pull out, and this joint here, both of them are also quite hard to pull off. So you can pull these two off from the knee first, to take the kneecaps off first, and then get the screwdriver deep inside, just stick it in and then wedge this joint out. You don't want to pull and snap the joint, you want to go in and wedge it out like so, in from the inside. And maybe get some clippers if you don't want to use your hands, but whatever, you can do that. Same for this joint, it's not too hard to come out. And then for the belt, just pull this piece off. You don't need to paint the actual buckle area, this metal buckle area, just want to paint the white area black. So pull this out. Now what I did was, this blue transparent area here, I just painted blue on top of it. But you want to do a better job at that, so just pull this off. You get the tissue, kitchen paper, and you get that thinner stuff, the guide color thinner stuff, and just rub all the paint off. It's fine. It's fine, and then you can just spray the outer area black or paint out however you want, and then you want to use the silver paint, go inside there, and then that's where the black pens come in, because if you're painting this area, you might not be painting it that straight. So you just get the little black pen and go around the circle. Be sure not to remove the little green dot on there as well. So spray paint might only be the best idea here, so you might want to also get a little jar of black paint, but just be really careful when painting this area. And the hand comes out easily. The hand joints here, again, get a screwdriver in there, wedge it out. The joint on the top there, I actually broke one of the joints. I had a spare joint, so I took the spare joint and put it in here. The top of this joint here actually has a little square cube that goes into this piece here, with a little stick that goes all the way and plugs into the upper shoulder part of the joint. So yeah, you're gonna be really careful and just pull the whole piece. So this is a very tight piece, so either use a hairdryer to soften the plastic, or like I said, just use those screwdriver bits and just wedge everything out. And then these shoulder pads come off very easily, head comes off very easily, torso comes off very easily. Now once you pulled everything apart, you need to get those pliers, the really sharp ones. Basically the groin piece here has glue on each side, so you want to be really careful and unglue that. Get the really sharp pliers. Remember, always get the really good quality ones, or else you leave a big gap. I've got a little bit of a gap here because when I first did this, I was still practicing. This is the second time I've painted this figure, so I've actually repainted over it because I wasn't pleased with the original paint job. And so just clip at the lower area, you'll see a little bump there. You don't want to destroy the peg, so just clip right underneath the peg from both sides, and it'll go a little snap, and I'll just snap apart, for me at least. And then if you're not too sure, you get the knife and just go around the edge. Again, get the high quality knife so you don't leave a big mark. You should be able to pull this piece, the front piece and the back piece, apart. Torso is very hard to pull apart. Basically what you gotta do is you see the joint there, you gotta clip underneath that and clip underneath there, and there's a lot of glue inside. So this is where you would want to use the hairdryer. I didn't bother, so I actually broke something inside. I broke one of the pegs inside because inside this torso, which I can show you. Oop, comes up here. Right, you see this? So this piece comes off like so, and this piece actually has a long pole that extends to the front of the chest, and that piece snapped inside. Because the front piece, you see this black area here? There's also a black piece attached to the front piece, which is glued on so tight that it just didn't come off. So ideally, you want to melt the glue so that the front piece comes off first, okay, from the piece inside, and then you can unscrew it so this back piece also comes off. And there's also glue here too, so you also have to unglue that. So it doesn't really matter too much. I just did that. I put a bit of blue tack in there, and it's fine. There's a few two screwdriver areas in there, one on each side for you to unlock both of the arms. You see, you got this little round piece on both sides. Those don't need to be painted or whatever, so you just take that apart. First of all, the head with the mask, you need to remove this front piece here. You can see I kind of broke a little bit. This middle piece needs to come out first. So here's where you need the pointy bits on the screwdrivers, really sharp pointy needle stuff, and just to slowly sort of wedge it out. You want to wedge it out from the end. Don't pull on it. You want to wedge it, push it out, because if you pull on it, you will snap it. You want to push these edges out, and of course they have a little bit of glue on each of these pieces, so hairdryer will come in handy. So once you pull the middle piece out, once you push the middle piece out, the next piece to come off needs to be the face mask, and then the back piece will also come off. And then once the face mask area comes off, then you can pull each piece of these fins will come out too. Now the two fins on the side, on the edges, this piece here and this piece, they're glued down pretty tight. So what you want to do is either use the knife or a screwdriver. Probably the knife, because that's really thin and sharp, and you need to wedge it in that gap right there on the from the inside. And yep, again, be careful not to snap them, but they're glued down quite a lot, so do be careful. And once the face mask is off, you want to get the paint remover and the tissue and just rub everything off. And at this point, you will be rubbing the black areas off as well, so that's why you need the black spray paint and silver to repaint that bits. I mean, unless you're really careful and you avoid all of that, and that's great. So once you remove the paint, the silver painting is on the inside of it. Don't remove that. Just respray it with blue, and then masking tape, spray the black bits, and then just get a little bit of silver paint and just draw on that area there. And then after that, you spray paint the whole thing with the gloss finish, and then the black area and silver area there, you want that to be in the matte. So here's how the spray paint works. So aside from a lot of masking tape and the pen to just even out the edges, so just masking tape everything, maybe double layer, triple layer, whatever. Just tape everything that you don't want to paint. For example, the black chest area, you don't want to paint that. The middle tummy black area, you don't want to paint that. These little fin bits on the legs, you don't want to paint those, and when you remove these fins from the mask, you don't want to paint those either. And you also you want the insides here to be black, so get that fin masking tape, just go around these and just fill in the gaps inside there. Here's how you need to spray paint this figure. First of all, you masking tape all the bits you don't want to paint, and then you spray the colors that you want. After you spray the colors that you want, let it dry for half a day at least. It usually takes actually a day or 2 days to fully cure, but it will be dry enough for you to paint the second layer or do the finishes after a few hours, so you can do that. But you gotta make sure you let it outside to dry for a while. Remember to use the breathing mask. After you spray all the colors you want, remove all of the masking tape and do one layer of gloss first. Even if you want a matte finish, do the gloss first. So gloss, you need 2 layers of gloss. That means gloss, let it dry again for at least a few hours, or let it dry for an entire day. Gloss, second time, exactly the same. Make sure the entire surface has been protected, because if you don't do that, the paint near the joints will rub off, or it will just rub off by your hands. So just make sure gloss is all over the place. And once you've done that, make sure all of the edges are smooth and finished. Make sure you run everything over with those black pens, and then you can finally finish up with the matte areas. So you got a masking tape all the gloss areas that you don't want to be matte finish, and then spray the matte finish. Don't spray too much matte, just go. If you spray too much matte, too close to it, I'd say maybe here's the figure, be like so this far from it, like when you're spraying stuff. When you do the matte finish, don't spray too much or else it'll start to look like it's moldy, and you don't want that. And if that happens, you gotta remove the matte and spray all over it again. You gotta be really careful with these paint stuff. If you mess up, you gotta start all over again, and it's really annoying. And if you use too much of this thinner, you will crack the plastic because it is a melting chemical and it will melt to the figure. So you have to don't use too much of that, just enough to rub paint stuff that you don't want. And once all of that's finished, again, let it dry, reassemble the figure, glue bits, blue type bits if you need to, and then you will have a dark decayed figure. I hope this video was useful to some of you out there if you want to customize your own dark decayed figure. And the reason why I didn't take this figure apart in front of the video was I did all of that during the painting process, and this is like the second time I painted this figure, which means I've taken him apart like more than once, and I don't want to risk doing any more damage to this figure, and that will happen. Really don't do this as your first custom paint job figure, because this figure is quite complex in the build, and yeah, I'm still quite amateur here with this stuff, but I think this figure turned out pretty good, which is why I'm doing this video, to hopefully help you out and point you in the right direction on how you can do this. I will show a few other figures that I've just spray painted or customized in the future on this channel, so if that's something you'd like to see, then definitely click the like button, subscribe button if you haven't done so already. I also review a lot of other figures, a lot of other toys, so that'd be great. And of course, if you want to support this channel, be sure to turn ad block off, but if you don't want to see the ads but still want to support this channel, share this video out there, and of course head over to the Patreon link in the video description below. Thanks for watching, take care, have a nice day, I'll see you guys soon, bye bye now.